Welcome once again. Shooting the Shizz, DK and the Schwag. It's been a couple weeks. We weren't able to do a show last week. My good friend Ann Myrna filled in, and we brought on our friend Nolan Tierce. You've been a busy man lately, Brett. What have you been up to?
Yeah, man. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were at Monster Palooza in Pasadena. I was sharing a little space with Christina Elise McCarthy over at the Trick or Treat Studios booth. I've never been to Monster Palooza before, but I can see why, people talk about it. It was a big deal, big show, great place. Man, the guests were great. Sometimes you think that, John, but you know this because you are a vendor as well as a podcaster. So sometimes you think that sitting at a vendor's spot as an actor or celebrity, you're like, I don't think I'm going to do well. But it's the opposite. Every time I've ever been at a vendor's booth or signed with you or signed with the Trick or Treat Studios, I've done very well. Get to meet a lot of people. A lot of people will come by, especially your booth or the Trick or Treat Studios booth. So it was great. Got to it was just awesome hanging around there. A lot of people walking around, a lot of cool stuff, tons of vendors. And then this weekend or the past weekend, I was up at Niagara Falls Comic-Con with Robert Patrick, Bob Elmore, Heather Langenkamp was sitting right next to me. I mean, was hanging out with the Scream folks. Skeet was there. Lee Waddell was there. Obviously, Roger Jackson was there, the voice. And my buddy Jamie Kennedy, who now he's like, man, he introduces me. Brett's done 2 of my TV shows, and he's just he's a really good guy. He's such a cool guy. And we had a good time hanging out and shooting the shiz while we were there. And it's the Canadian that show, they had some tremendous vendors there. The blockhead guy, my buddy Aaron, who makes the blockheads, made a couple special blockheads for me and Bob Elmore. So he made a dual blockhead, a dual face, half Bob Elmore, half me. My side holding a sledgehammer, Bob's side, holding a chainsaw. So it was real cool. And it's always, I've never done a show with Robert Patrick, so it was cool watching him, getting over there and doing his thing. And as you saw, you noticed some people brought in some wild T1000 things to get signed.
Yeah, it was one made out of aluminum or something. It looked like it was like tempered aluminum foil that they did art with, which is cool.
I mean, truly amazing. I mean, it just boggled the mind. I saw him signing one of them, and I was just like, wow. I mean, some tremendous artists out there. And I think those guys weren't even from Canada.
They were.
I think they were from another country or something.
I think Derek Mears was there. The French side of Canada.
Oh, they might have been. They might have been from Montreal or Quebec.
Yeah.
Derek Mears was there. I don't get to see Derek very often. Great, cool cat. BSing with him a little bit. Then
Doug Tate was there too, right? Or that was in Monster Palooza. He said
Doug was at Monster Palooza. He again was sitting at someone's table. We weren't in the main room signing, which was fine. It was great. But yeah, awesome time. Niagara Falls Comic-Con is a good deal. I mean, they had a ton of people, regular celebrities there that are not horror related. And then they had, 6 or 7 of us that were horror genre. And then, they also do Frightmare in the Falls, which will be in October, which is a wonderful show. But yeah, busy. Now I have, this weekend off, and I got next weekend off, and it's weird because I don't know what to do. So
right back to
I went and bought a new washer and dryer today, which is super expensive. So thank God I've been doing some shows.
Yeah. Did you get the fancy ones? You get a nice fancy washer and dryer there?
Semi-fancy. Not $2,000 on the washer and dryer, but maybe $1,200 on the washer and dryer. But I see some wild Michael Toth art skateboards behind you.
Oh, of course.
That look great.
Which leads to our guests too in a little bit, because we're going to be talking to about Memphis MonsterCon with our good friend Jaime Wright, and we're going to bring him up in a second. Big thanks to Michael Toth. I wanted to just say, I know I've been talking about the shop. I have been working. I have everything set, but I am so tech unsavvy, and Ann's been away. And I should have done it over the weekend, but I wound up jamming for like the first time in 20 years or something, 15 years maybe. It'd been a while since 2012, just jamming by myself, but like years and years and years. So that was a lot of fun to knock off a little bit of rust. And then big thank you to Carolina Fear Fest. Was there a few weeks back with our good friends out there. I mean, so many of them came and visited. I can't even name everybody that was there. But we do have a
Matt Burns.
Well, I know Matt Burns, but I've met so many different friends that come to the show that I've met from Facebook. Like, I think that was the one convention where I was like, wow, everybody was at Tom Matthews, which we'll be talking about a little bit tonight since he's one of our guests. But without further ado, let's bring up our good friend once again, Jaime Wright. What's going on, Jamie?
What's going on, guys?
901 Games. Approved by the Comics Code Authority. Yes. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Doing well. We've been busy. You know, both of us have been busy. I know you've been busy moving and trying to prepare this show. And you guys have been announcing some great guests. You just announced another great one from Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Beverly Randolph.
Yes.
Tina.
Yes. So,
It's so funny. It's so funny, John, because, you know, I've been talking to Jamie about this show over a year, right? I think we've been chatting about it over a year. And Jamie says, listen, don't worry. I want you there. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I said, are you going to book me? He goes, it's going to happen. And we've been BSing about it for over a year. Then finally he goes, I think we're close. And then he did announce it. And then I was like, well, you know, Jamie, just from experience, don't book a ton of guests. And he goes, I'm not going to book a ton. I'm just going to book some choice, really good ones. And now we're like 3 months into the first bookings, and he's booking a ton of tremendous guests, though.
The choices are great. Choices have been great.
Yeah, I think the first time we talked, I think all I had was Ken Forey.
Yep. I think that was the first announcement. And I heard you just got a new panel, a guy doing panels. I know he's super excited. I heard he's all right.
Real knowledgeable too.
But it's a real honor for me to be hosting the panels at Memphis Monster Con. I mean, it's a true honor with all these great people. Brett, CJ Graham, Ken Forey, Felissa Rose, Robert Mukes, who's hand in Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Now he's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Might have to get him a leather face mask or something to do some photos with.
Well, you know, that's funny. You know, Robert kept very tight-lipped about it, but yeah, you know, it's a big deal for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you know, fandom. I mean, he's part of the family now. I mean, Robert's been in a ton of movies, ton of TV shows. You know, we both dabbled in wrestling a long time ago, and then Robert's been in some big stuff. You know, Westworld, House of a Thousand Corpses. I mean, he's done Weeds. He's done tons of TV and tons of movies. But you know, it's nice. He's part of the family now with in the game as Hands, a 7-foot monster in the game, and I'm real excited for him because I think it also will open some more doors for him that he can now be, you know, doing some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre only stuff that, you know, they try to bring in. Oh, he's part of the cast now. He's part of the crew.
That dude is a living giant. Like, Brett's a big dude. I've met CJ Graham, big dudes, but man, Robert Mukes, just in general, is just a monster of a dude, man. He's
6 foot 10.
We were talking about booking his flight. He was like, "Let me handle that."
I'm gonna need some leg room.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to remove some seats for me, put a nice sofa, something for him. Yeah, he's a big man, that's for sure. So you just moved. You got this convention going on. I'm very surprised you're able to keep the hair in your head.
It's not a whole lot. Plus, I just turned 40 today, so today's my birthday.
Yummy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not lying about that age, are you?
No.
Okay, just checking. I remember 40. I thought 40 was a big deal until you get to 50. Hey, let's remind the folks at home a little bit about what you do and what you've done in the past, and then we'll get into the dates and whatnot, and the reason why you started doing this Memphis Monster Con.
Yeah, so we've had 901 Comics. We just had our 8-year anniversary for 901 Comics. Before that, I actually went on the road working with Stan Lee, helping out with, selling the merchandise, helping out with the autograph signings, traveled all over the U.S., Japan, Dubai, Australia, all through Canada. And then my business partner, we always hung out at the same watering hole, and he kept putting it in my ear, need to open a shop, need to open a shop. And then finally I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I quit touring with Stan and, put all my time into the shop. And, we just kind of built our own community, and it just kept building and building and building. We always threw around the idea of wanting to have our own convention. And, Memphis has a good Comic-Con, the Memphis Comic Expo. They have a good anime convention, which we actually just set up at and promoted. And then Memphis doesn't have a horror convention. So it's like, there's a need for it. There's people just clamoring for it. They really want it. We've just had a really good response ever since we, even before we had guests, just putting it out there that we're going to do this. People were like, I'm going to be there for sure.
I mean, you did. I mean, like I said, we've been talking for over a year, so it wasn't like you rushed into it, because
Right.
a lot of first time people think it's an easy thing. Oh, I'll invite a couple people. I'll get a couple vendors there. It's not easy, is it, Jamie?
No, not at all. Not at all.
As a vendor alone, I can see how much work goes in as I go on the road and on my travels, what it takes to put on a con. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of team, a lot of people, a lot of support in the community. I mean, there's a lot of variables to make or break a convention. And I think you guys are killing it. This is quite the list you got. Like I said, just quite the list. And you've been on that journey doing what you're doing, working with Stan Lee all the way over, traveling all the way. Now it's kind of the simple life for you. You're not traveling all over the world anymore, and making home in Memphis.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to San Diego for Comic-Con later on. Helping my buddy's got a booth there that I help out with. But other than that, it's just here, just pounding the pavement. We just got all of our flyers, all of our posters in. Next few weeks, I'm going to be going around 200-mile radius of Memphis and going to Little Rock and Nashville and Jackson, Mississippi, just everywhere, and just plastering it with posters and flyers. Yeah.
And that's great. I was just talking to somebody about, conventions, and it's like the ones that hit the pavement pound. You can do all the social media marketing you want, but you're reaching such a wide audience that when you're hitting that pavement, you're hitting the local businesses, you're hitting the people, you're hitting the community, letting them know. Even if they're not horror fans, the thing about conventions is they're so fun for families or whatever. Yeah. That there's a great way to introduce yourself, market people, your flyers out there, and getting along with the community and letting them know what you guys are doing. And I think that's awesome that you brought that up, that you're going to be hitting the pavement. Because I think a lot of people miss that aspect. You can bring in the best guests in the world. You can have the biggest place to do something, or even a small, quaint place. But if you're not hitting the pavement and you're not reaching the community and not reaching the people, it's going to be really tough to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, you can do as many Facebook ads as you want, but it doesn't mean you're going to find everybody. It's like we set up at the anime convention. I kept asking people, you like horror movies? You like horror movies? They're like, yes. And I was like, we're doing a convention. Like, oh, this is awesome,
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I was, and still today, I mean, I can get my information off of Facebook, Instagram, and, the newspapers and whatnot. But like for bands, I never ever saw something about a band. I'd always see a band flyer or something in a store, or I'd go to my local record shop, and there'd be a flyer for, the Ramones and Motorhead. And so hitting the pavement's a big deal, because that's how I used to go find stuff, because I'd see it someplace, or I'd see it up in a pizza restaurant. They'd have pro wrestling going to have a deal, I'd always be able to find it someplace, because, yeah, I mean, listen, Facebook's great, but, it's also, you're putting money out there. Here's $30 to reach this demographic, and doesn't necessarily mean it's going to meet that demographic at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there will be people that will travel, but your core people that are going to be there are the ones in the community. So those are the ones you got to reach, whether it's, radio advertisement, local TV commercials is always good. And like you said, mainly hitting that pavement and introducing and letting people know what's going on in Memphis.
Yeah, and like 3 years ago, there was Joe Bob's Briggs was doing his traveling horror convention, and a lot of people in Memphis didn't know about it. They either didn't know about it at all, or they didn't know about it until it was like the last minute.
And what I think's great about you doing it in November, it's kind of like we always get that, oh man, I miss Halloween. I miss Halloween. Oh, it's just, and we're going to be celebrating Halloween again in November with all these amazing guests. And I think that's super cool to have one just right after Halloween, because a lot of the guests get booked. And now you've got such a great lineup of people and everybody that's hungry for their costumes, and they got their candy already. And now they're going to have a chance in their area to meet some of these people they dressed up as. So they'll already have their costume made too, but just getting to know the people in the area and bringing this to the community, I'm real excited for it. And I'm excited to be there. I know Brett's super excited to be there, and I can't wait. My mom will be driving, and my dad. We're going to be bringing in some family, so
nice.
We can't wait to come and support ourselves and do.
Not to mention the good food out there in Memphis.
Oh yeah.
And Travis Kuhn will be helping out as usual.
Oh, the Kuhn Master is going to be coming. That's great. Travis will be there. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And then, if you need I do a lot of voiceovers, like for the guys up in Canada, I do, voiceovers for Frightmare in the Falls. Just did a nice voiceover for Nickel City Con, which is next week or the week after. So if you put something together and you're going to run a radio ad or whatnot, I will do it for free, and let me do big Schwag it up, and let's get a nice radio ad for you to go to the local radios. Or if you want to, I'll do the radio ad for you, and you guys can put some video over it with all the guests and everything else, and a little bit of music.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we've thought about doing, is a radio ad and a couple billboards. So yeah, that would be amazing. I really appreciate it.
Well, might I say that Tom Matthews and me are probably the two best looking guests you got coming. So just feel free, or CJ, you can throw CJ up there too, but feel free to use our pictures.
I don't know. He's got Felissa Rose coming. I mean, you got Beverly Randolph. You got a little competition on the looks there. There's some, those ladies are still very beautiful. That's for sure. And I'm excited to see him again. I like it. I've met Felissa a few times, and I met Beverly Randolph once, and she signed some Return of the Living Dead stuff. And she couldn't have been any nicer, any sweeter. So such a great announcement you guys did today. You got Alan Troutman, you got the Tar Man himself, you got Tom Matthews coming. And then you kind of got, with CJ there, you got the Friday the 13th Part 6, the Return of the Living Dead. You got a lot of tie-ins with the thought on the guests, not just one franchise, but a lot that have worked together that have been in some iconic franchises.
Yeah, that's definitely what we were trying to go for, is just, get as much crossover as possible. Whether, somebody, didn't see Tom in Friday the 13th, and they saw him in Return of the Living Dead,
Yeah. Tom's one of the nicest guys too. Got to see him out in Carolina with the family and stuff, and he's just so down to earth. He's one of those guys if you're just having a conversation with him, you forget, hey, this is Tommy Jarvis I'm talking to, because he is that down to earth. He doesn't, he's just an average Joe as far as personality goes, who's just really nice, really cool with everybody. I think the fans are really going to love him that haven't had a chance to meet him. Ken Forey's another one, CJ, Brett. I mean, you got some not only, great franchises and guests, they're great people too.
Yeah. And, Tyler May with the crossover.
Yeah, Tyler.
With not only, Halloween, he was in Victor Crowley, and then, X-Men, where he was Sabretooth.
Yeah. Gotta love X-Men. I mean, he's done a lot of things too. I mean, other than just the Halloween, he's one of those big men who's done some.
Troy. Wasn't he in Troy?
What was he?
He was in Troy.
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, he was. Yeah.
In a loincloth.
Yeah, when he and Brad Pitt fought in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think Brad Pitt comes down and gets him in the leg. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, it was a badass part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Rain's a great guy. Listen, you have. If I was going to do my own show and I could bring in a list of guys that I know that are my friends that are big time, you got them all.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, the Return of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, for God's sakes. I mean,
Joe Grizzly.
Joker.
Yes.
Ken Corey from Dawn of the Dead. You got so many great tie-ins that it's going to be a lot of fun for fans, of each franchise. Again, you guys have done such a great job on the guest list. I think people are in for a real treat with this event, a real treat. I'm excited about it. It's all the way to November, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of people that people want to see. People are throwing out names like like big names. But like maybe next year, let us build and build and build before we.
But you know what? You got solid names. That's the big thing. You got name drawers. You got Friday the 13th. You got Dawn of the Dead. You got Halloween. You got Leatherface. Actually, another member now with Mukes being in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I mean, you got some good ones. You don't need Robert Englund or something on the first event, or trying to launch a new show to make it work and be good for everybody. And you got the people. You got the right ones. I truly believe that. One of the best guest lists I'm going to this year.
And if there was a riot, you have some of the biggest, toughest sons of guns in the business. I mean, that's a huge lineup of guys. If something ever happened, that's a big. I can just imagine all these big badass mofos coming up and going, "You all right, Jamie?" No, you please help. I mean, you got it's a huge
big lineup. He's got a huge lineup of people.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you know, y'all are also gonna double as security. So save some money that way.
Yeah, I'll have my mom there. She's got a scooter and stuff. She'll just run people down.
But the real question is, are you done announcing guests?
For now, we are. We're gonna gear towards advertising, vendor and artist relations. Getting all of our vendors and our artist names out there. Working on more sponsorships. We're luckily enough that we got two great sponsors, Mr. Hats and R&B Witchery. We're very lucky to have them. And just like I said, pound the pavement and just keep getting the word out. But I mean, maybe one or two more. I don't know. Maybe.
Never know.
We need a nice cold beer beverage sponsor.
I'm actually working on that.
All right.
There's some really great local breweries in town, so I'm gonna try to work with one of them and make them the official beer sponsor, because we are trying to make the event where we're at least have beer sales. So we're definitely gonna have some food trucks. I actually just picked up a new food truck today. I can't remember the name of them, but they serve Philly cheesesteak and Chicago style hot dogs.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Might as well get a taco truck just to make sure.
I'm working on that for you.
He'll keep
buddy,
busy. They'll make their money just in bread alone.
I'm telling you, I will spend all my money at the taco truck. But it's pretty amazing. And I was talking with somebody about it over the weekend. I'm trying to remember who it was, but they were asking about, is there any shows in November? And I'm like, oh yeah, there's very few, but there is a good one. And then I was telling the lineup, and they're like, holy crap. I mean, usually at a convention, you'll get maybe one or two, maybe three of the people you got on your list, and then the rest, they'll fill in the rest with other folks. But I mean, from top to bottom, it's just a powerhouse of guests. I mean, the amount of credits in the different movies that all these people have been in is a big deal. So I hope folks at home realize that it's for a first time show that have this amount of guests as it is, and then have the big time guests, which you do, it's a big deal. It's a one of a kind. It's going to be. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough for a second year to top the guest list you got this time. I mean, I hope you
on some people that we want to bring in for next year if everything works out. So we'll definitely try.
I think it's going to be a big hit this year. I truly believe it. I like with you hitting the pavement and stuff. I can't see, unless there's just no horror fans in Memphis, people not saying in November, it's not too hot. It's not the summertime. And I'll tell you, as a vendor going in, a November event after I sweat my butt off in June, July, and stuff like that, and setting up those tables. A November cool breeze is never something I will complain about. That is for sure, setting up, because those July months, I don't care. You are sweating bullets, especially if you're me. So I appreciate that just for November.
Especially here in Memphis, where it's 95 degrees, 100% humidity.
Oh. Yeah, I've done some in like June, July in Florida, and those have been some tough ones. It's like once you get inside, it's cool if they have it cool inside, but just even if it's not that far, that little trek going inside and bringing stuff in, man, you're wore out.
Absolutely.
Do you, is there any conventions you might be hitting up besides San Diego Comic-Con?
Like I said, at the end of October, we're doing the Memphis Comic Expo. It's the local Comic-Con here. We'll be full force there because that's I think 2 weeks before the MonsterCon, so we'll be hitting it hard there. As far as that, nothing really on the horizon.
Here's a question for you. How are the local, since you're not doing the same type of con, have you found a lot of support from the Comic Cons? Like if you're going there to advertise for Memphis MonsterCon, have they been cool with that, accepting that? Because I know some, I think it's great when especially in the area, if they're doing different things or supporting each other's cons. Are you finding that to be the case?
Yeah, like the Anime Blues Con they just had this past weekend. They were, they let us put posters up in the bathroom, posters in the hallway.
That's awesome.
Pass out flyers everywhere. They're like, yeah, do what you want to do. And then I talked to one of the organizers for the Comic Expo, and he's like, talking, saying that we're in for a booth for sure, and plaster it.
Well, it's cool. It's cross advertising, them having a table at their event, or your event, you having at theirs. It really shares the word and keeps the people in Memphis having something to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's missing nowadays for a lot of people.
Jamie, how far are you from Kansas City? Can't be that far.
Kansas City, I think, is an 8-hour drive.
No, it's like 4.
Well, no.
Where I'm from, I'm an hour from Kansas City. I'm only about 4 hours away, 3.5, 4 hours away from where the event is, and I'm about an hour south of Kansas City.
7 hours.
7 hours?
7 hours, Jamie. We're going to be Memphis to Kansas City. You and me and John are going to be in Kansas City end of this month for Crypticon Kansas City. No reason you can't come join us.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look at the calendar and see if we can fit that in for sure. Absolutely.
Come drive down and say howdy.
Yeah, come chill out. We'll be around. We'll be happy to sit there and throw some posters or advertising on the table. Actually, even if you can't make it, send me some so I can put it on the table.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll make sure we do. Get the word out because it isn't far. I could have swore it was like a 3.5. It doesn't matter how far it is. I'll be there. But for me, I thought it was only about a 3.5, 4-hour drive, which is not bad. Carolina was my big drive this year. That was like with stops and everything, 20 plus hours, few truck issues on the way, not really major, just things that had me concerned that turned out to be no big deal. But if I do a 7, 8, 9-hour drive, that's nothing. When you get to like the 14, 15, 16, it kind of takes a toll on you, and it takes an extra day off of work.
Yeah, when I was working with Stan, like we would have a truck go from like one side of the country to the other. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna fly on that one. I'm not gonna ride the truck. I have done Memphis to New York City, driving through the night up there. That was a long drive.
Yeah, it's rough. You get used to it. Like the first time I did Florida from Missouri was 20 plus hours, and I'm like, I'll just go. And I had like 4 hours. The last 4 hours was the worst drive of my life. There was no place to pull over. It was too early to get a hotel, but long story short, yeah, my long drives are over this year. I don't think I'm going to do too many long drives anymore. It just beats the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Well, here are some suggestions for season 2, episode 2, 2025. I've been hanging out a little and chatting with Lou Temple. Lou is such a great guy and a good guest, and just a well-rounded individual. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but he's such a good guy. And then if you can get Derek Mears in there, Derek is a great guy. Like, when I'm sitting at conventions and I have a little time, I'll watch and I'll see how folks react and how the other guests deal with fans and everything. And those two guys, Lou and Derek, are so good with the fans. Not that, everybody that's on your list this year isn't, but just a couple guys to throw out there I think would be great for you next year.
Yeah, and I would love if you could do put a little bug in Don Coscarelli's ear too.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? I could put a bug in his ear. Yeah, what a great guy. Such a good guy. Wish he would direct more movies, man. I just, yeah, I mean, getting some of the Phantasm people there would be wonderful, and yeah, that would be badass.
Yeah, I mean, what I'd love to have is like, that we were thinking about for next year is maybe like Tony Todd.
Yeah.
The
potential's there for sure. I think this is going to be a big hit this year in November, and I think next year is just going to open the doors even wider for you. I think you're onto something really great and special.
Yeah, and some of the people that we've talked to that had something already planned for that weekend are like, definitely count me in for next year. So that's been really nice.
Well, the good thing is I know Tony Todd's manager. Got the number right here. We can always.
He's on my list to meet. I have not had a chance to meet Tony Todd. And you'd mentioned Derek Mears, Brett. I can't wait to meet him. I believe I'm meeting him at Scarefest this year, so I'm excited to finally meet Derek Mears.
Yeah, and there's another one, Jamie. You should come visit us in Kentucky at Scarefest in October.
Because that's the middle of October this year, right?
I think it's the 20th. The third week, I believe, in October, the 20th or something like that.
Well, we might be able to work that in because that's the week before the Comic Expo here. So
I think I had mentioned it to you the last time we talked, maybe a month ago or something, about because they're so great at Brandon Griffith and Adrian Deakins Elder, just in the whole team there, and Nicole. Brandon's wife. I mean, they're just amazing there, and they're so open and they're so supportive of other cons. It'd definitely be a good one to check into. And me and Brett are real good friends with them. We'd definitely introduce you to Adrian and Brandon. And I mean, they're the most down to earth, coolest people, and they really study what they do as well. I think you guys would get along well.
Yeah, and they don't mind. Helping other, like you said, they don't mind helping other cons or, giving you, if you need to bend their ear for a second. They're great folks at October 18th to the 20th. Yeah. It's people that put in the work, like, like you're doing and like they do and all that they don't have to worry about if they give some good info to somebody, whereas a lot of other people that run some cons are going to be all secretive. If you have your shiznit together, you don't have to worry about it if you give a good tip to somebody or, help them out.
Yeah, when I was first putting all these thoughts together, I even messaged Scarefest on Facebook, and the guy was like, "I'm just the Facebook person, but you might want to look at like IMDb Pro. You might be able to find some information through that way." And that's how I ended up getting Ken Forey. So that was real nice of them.
That's awesome.
Speaking of Lou Temple. This guy's got the museum now, Travis Kuhn.
Yes.
That guy. You'll meet him. He comes to all the cons. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in Memphis. I think the only one he can't go to is OKC. He's going to be at every con. But that man's got the Lou Temple original awesomeness that Brett got in contact with Lou about. And, yeah, he's got – yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Travis.
Yeah, he's got Lou's sheriff's outfit from the second movie, The Beginning. And Lou's a great guy to give that stuff up. But, yeah, it's man, I'm excited for you, Jamie. I'm excited, first of all, because I haven't been to Memphis in 100 years, so I'm excited to go over there. I'm excited to be able to hang out with that whole cast and crew of folks that are going to be there. And then, but as a guy that, roots for somebody, we're rooting for you because I think you're a good dude. I think you've paid your dues and you're 40 and it's time to get a goddamn convention going out there in Memphis and, for the next 20 years. Maybe you'll get tired of it at the 20th anniversary, and hopefully me and John will be alive at the 20th in 20 years. And we'll make you bring us back.
Absolutely, for sure.
Well, I definitely hope so. I really, I mean, there's a few cons. I mean, I'm always excited about every con, you know, Scarefest, and Memphis is definitely on my list of, yeah. I mean, also doing the honor of doing the panels and being able to host them, but the guests, Brett being there, it being a November event where I just have major Halloween and horror withdrawals. So to have that coming up, it's, you know, it helps my fix of horror. So, or scary, because I can't say horror because I'm from Massachusetts and it sounds like I'm saying whore. And people always go, I'm saying horror, people. I promise you.
So, Jamie, if folks wanna get tickets or see all the info on the show in November, where do they go?
You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, you know, Memphis Monster Con, and we also have our website, memphismonstercon.com. On there, you can order your tickets. You can see the lineup. If you want to be a vendor, we still have vendor spots open. I think we might be done for Artist Alley, but we'll still take applications in case something happens and a spot opens up. But, you know, if you want to be a vendor, go ahead and hop on there and fill out application. Yeah, and just, you know, keep paying attention to us on the social medias. We'll be running, you know, specials on tickets. We just, you know, we just want to pack it out. You know, we just want to get as many people in there as possible. So.
And what about photo ops? Are we doing? Oh, Dave Sheridan's going to be there too.
Photo ops. I mean, that dude is awesome. But he's a great guest. He's a
great guest. Are we doing costume photo ops?
Yes. We're gonna have you, the Kipper Kill Leatherface in full costume photo ops. We've already sold several of those. CJ's doing, you know, full on Jason Voorhees. Felicia, she's doing camper photo ops or final scene photo ops.
If you have not seen the final scene photo ops, folks, let me tell you something. Just go watch Sleepaway Camp, and you'll understand about the final scene photo ops. Pretty amazing. You know, I keep telling Tom Matthews he needs to do the photo ops. He needs to get in that old football Letterman's jacket as Freddie and get out there and do the things. So hopefully we'll get, if not, we'll drag him. Me and CJ will drag him in there and take some photos or something.
I can't see him not wanting to.
And Ghostface photo ops and Doofy photo ops.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about all these guests is a lot of them get in costume too. So there's so much added, not just getting a photo with Brett dressing as the Kemper Killer, you know, CJ as Part 6. I mean, that's pretty cool. You know, Felissa Rose dressing in her camper's outfit and her extra scene, and Dave Sheridan being there, who, if anybody knows, Felissa and Dave Sheridan are like best friends. They've been on a ton of indie movies together lately. I just watched Macabre Mountain and they were both in it. So,
well, especially with horror cons, you know, like you get that a lot, you know, with like regular Comic Cons, you just have, you know, the actors. It's just like, hey, I'm in a picture with you, you know, kind of thing. You know, it's not like Dean Cain dressing up as Superman, taking photos with people. You know, it's just like, hey, I'm taking a picture with you. But, you know, horror, man, it's, you know, it's a different animal, and people just love it.
Oh, we got also John, you know, the 50th anniversary. So we got John Dugan there. That's great. John's a great guy. John's always on the mellow vibe. He's going to have a good time.
I haven't had a chance to meet him. I am friends with him. And now for wrestling fans, and I know there's a huge wrestling base in
Memphis, of course.
Yeah.
That's great. You got the Taskmaster. So me being, you know, I used to watch Kevin Sullivan wrestle on TV. Big deal. He's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine the stories he can tell too.
The Reinforcer, Andrew Anderson's going to be there as well.
Yeah.
He was in Sneaky Pete, and I haven't finished that series. And now that I see that, I got to, because Sneaky Pete was a lot of fun. So I got to catch up on that one. That's on Showtime, I believe, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to catch up on that.
Who knows? Maybe we can. I can put in. I think I still have his email. Maybe we can get old Jerry the King Lawler to come make a visit since we're in his hometown. Maybe we give him a free ticket at the door and just tell him, Jerry, you're on the guest list. Come on by. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we have talked to him.
He is a great guy.
But it's just, he wants to wait till he gets closer to make sure he doesn't have anything, else lined up. And
you got to pay homage to the King of Memphis, right? So if we at least the offers out there for Jerry to come by and say, Jerry, we'll leave you 3 or 4 tickets at the door. Just come on in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got to say something since you brought him up. With my field and what I do, wrestlers have always been some of the coolest people. And Jerry the King Lawler was one of the nicest celebrities. The wrestler's always good to my guys. Like he went above and beyond. And big thanks to that, man. Since we brought him up, you got to give love to some of these guys and let them know that
of course.
The personality and what they do in the ring or as an actor or an actress, it's important when you meet these people and you find out they're really cool. And Tom's a great example because I was talking to him. It's like this guy is just as excited to meet the people that are fans of him as they are to meet, and vice versa. And I think that's always cool. And there's quite a few people like that. Brett's like that. And I think that's why when Brett said he was sitting at a vendor table at a few shows, he's able to interact a little bit more on a different level and talk to these people. So yeah, again, not just great guests, but great people. The ones I've met, and I've met probably 85% of the people you got coming, and you pick some good ones. You pick some real good ones.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Listen to Brett give some advice, some great advice, and some other people that I've talked to that's just helped build this out for sure.
It's going to be a big year. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really, like I said, a really good show. I think you guys are doing everything the right way, and I love watching what you're doing. I love the announcements. You just keep it up, man. I can't tell you how excited I am to do the panels. My dude, the big Schwag being there, and running into all these people that are just awesome, and then family coming and the people you meet at these cons. So if anybody's never been to a con, it's not just the guests. These vendors do some amazing tables. The families you meet, the people you meet, the cosplayers you meet. There's just so much to do at a convention you can't explain to somebody. If my parents enjoy a convention, there's nobody who's not going to enjoy a convention because you would never expect them to enjoy it as much as they do. But it brings family, it brings people together. Even the last convention, everyone gets better and better because I meet a lot. I meet a lot with my family, and just to see my family interact with the people is a lot of fun. So if you've never been to a con, check one out in your area. If you're in Memphis, you got to check it out.
November 9th and 10th at the Pipkin Building, Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium. Am I correct on that, Jamie?
Absolutely.
So it's going down MemphisMonsterCon.com.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure on Facebook and also on Instagram. So, Jaime Wright, thank you so much, my friend, for giving us an update. Hey, listen, it's close, but it's still a little way off. So I'm sure we'll have you back on again when you announce about 30 more people and guests to come. So we'll get you back on again to say howdy and give us an update as we get closer. But appreciate your time tonight. And folks, I'm gonna tell you, November is not much going on except in Memphis,
where everything will be going
Thanks
on.
for having me, for sure. Absolutely.
And like Brett said, we'll get you back on. We want to keep helping you any way we can. Feel free to reach out if you have something you want to talk about the show that you got coming up. Happy to come on and support in any way we can.
Yeah, we might even be working in like a musical guest after party type thing too. So
nice.
Let's see how that shakes loose.
Nice. I told people I was playing guitar. Trust me, it's not me. He's planning on bringing a musical guest. He wants people to stay, not leave.
Well, Power Man. I just met Spider One from Power Man 5000, Rob Zombie's brother at Monster Palooza. Came over. We were chatting. I gave his kid a Leatherface Funko Pop, and so let's see if we can get Power Man 5000 to come out to Memphis. You never know.
You never know.
Be cool. All right, guys. Memphis MonsterCon. See us in November. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to talk about more, and that goes on with the show, and we're going to keep you updated. So stay tuned with Doomsday's Crypt group and page, but also check out the Memphis HorrorCon group and page. Is it a group or just a page? I can't remember.
Just page, yeah.
Just a page. So go check out the Memphis MonsterCon page on Facebook. I'll drop the link in Doomsday's Crypt. But you see me posting and sharing out Memphis MonsterCon. Make sure you guys like, support, and look into it. If you can make it, get there. It's going to be fun. So till next time, guys, thank you, Big Schwag. Thank you, Jaime Wright. We will see you soon. Peace out. End of the month, Crypticon, weekend after, Days of the Dead, Indianapolis for me. And I can't wait for both. See you soon.